Live from the Pines, your favorite East Texas sports podcast, coming at you live. Tonight we welcome Lufkin Panther head coach, athletic director, Carl Abseck. How you doing tonight, Coach?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Trey, you doing pretty good tonight?
I'm pretty good. Just got back from the gym. Excited to talk with a new coach.
I didn't make it to the gym, but I'm here. Before we get started, I want to give a shout out to our guys at Zilker Belts, our guy Austin Brown and the team. Use discount code PINES936 for all online orders. ZilkerBelts.com. Go give my guys a chance. They make some sweet belts. Coach Abseck, you're finally here in Lufkin. The job is done deal. Yep. You're here. How are you liking Lufkin now? You know, you got a track record. You're from Bridgeport, Texas. You get up to Wichita Falls. You make your way to Austin area. You go to Houston area. And now you're here in the Piney Woods. What do you think about Lufkin so far?
It's been great. The people of Lufkin have been extremely welcoming. Excited for the things that we're looking at bringing to the programs, and I couldn't be more pleased with how I've been received, and they've made me feel very welcome, and that the excitement's really high. So it's been great.
Well, Coach Abseck, Lufkin's a familiar town when it comes to the game of football. We've produced a lot of talent in the past. We've had some great coaches come through. John Outlaw, Ty Quick. We thank those guys for everything they've done in the past. And, what did you know about Lufkin? You see the jobs posted. You see there's an opportunity to, head coach AD. And I know that was something that was big for you coming back to become an AD. What do you think about that? Like, how'd your family take that? It's Lufkin.
Well, my wife, who is paying attention to this broadcast, hi, babe, I love you, and my daughter Carly, she's the best coach's wife you could possibly ask for, and she's pretty open-minded to wherever we've gone, and to me, we do it as a partnership, as a team. So it wasn't a big deal for her, other than she just wanted to see it before she committed, and I brought her up here actually over Christmas, hoping that we'd have an opportunity to come here, and she was like, babe, I'm good. So I was like, all right, let's go. So we put our name in the hat, and I was blessed to get the nod. And so it's been awesome.
Did you know much about Lufkin?
I wouldn't say I knew a lot. I'd never been here until we came up here last fall for the football game. But
we won't talk about that.
Yeah, I don't want to talk.
I didn't like it too much after that.
I didn't like it at all. But I knew the history, as a football junkie and a coach, the quality programs, the ones that have done really great things, and had some tremendous athletes come through here. And so I'm a Cowboys fan. I mean, everybody knows Dez and those guys. So no, I knew there was a big history of quality football players and great coaches, and so of course I had Alton Dixon on my staff at Barbers Hill. So, he told me all I needed to know about Lufkin. And no, I didn't know a ton, but what I knew is something as a football coach you'd be excited about.
When you talk about Alton Dixon, I shot you a text message before this was, even anything in the works. We didn't even know anything about you coming to Lufkin or anything. I just wanted to get you on the show and talk ball. AD was basically, I'm sure you went to AD like, who's this kid from Lufkin that wants me on the podcast?
I was interested to figure out. I mean, because, you think of most of those things as kind of staying under the radar, and then all of a sudden I'm getting a random text from a guy from Lufkin. So I was like, I wonder what this is.
This is before.
Who is this Buddy Garrity?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is before we knew anything about, your time with Lufkin or any conversation. We just knew that you were a ball coach and we wanted to get you on the show. But, as far as making the transition to Lufkin, small town, you don't have the two high school town. We're blessed to have that one high school, blessed to have that the football program we have. What have you seen so far as the kids, the facilities, and all that? Like, what do you think? Walking in this job blindfolded and meeting our kids. What do you think we should look forward to of building this program back to what it normally was?
They had a great year last year. So,
my
deal is I really want to just kind of build off of that. It's like I said in another interview, it's like there's only one team that can be back-to-back district champs since Lufkin.
Hard to do.
There's only one can do it.
Yeah, that's us.
But so I want to build off of that. And, I think just seeing the kids and the way they work, that's really exciting. They've really bought into the little things. I haven't done a whole lot yet because there's a kind of a filling out process and just an observation piece of this because they obviously were doing some really good things. And so as a new coach, you just want to see what they've done, what the kids are kind of accustomed to. And then you start putting your pieces into it until at the end of the day, you've made a lot of changes that hopefully they haven't really noticed a whole lot to build off of what they've already been doing. And so I've been super impressed with their work ethic. They're a fun group of kids. They've been just so welcoming, and that part has meant a lot to me because they don't know me. I'm not from Lufkin, so there's the stranger thing there, and so I couldn't be more pleased and proud of the fact that they've been so receptive to what I've had to say and what we're doing.
And, you've obviously seen the roster. You've seen the roster from last year. Coach Todd Quick and Coach Soderquist did a great job with the defense we had last year. We had a stout defense, and it showed all through the season. Those guys they're the key success to a lot of these games we won. They put up a lot of points. They made a lot of stops. And, our offense, Kevo Taylor, Quincy QT, and the rest of the guys, we had a great group last year, but you lose a lot of those kids.
Yes, a lot of them. I mean, I watched 11 of them sign today to go play at the next level, and I know 2 or 3 of them signed in the early signing period, to Michigan State and LSU. So there is a really good group of young men that are leaving this town, this program to go and play at the next level. And as a coach, that's what you want to see. But at the same time, for me, we were looking at the roster today. There's 24 guys back off of the roster that contributed to that team and the success that they had. And so we're excited to have them and build on, the foundation that they've set. And we'll add some new guys to it. But, when I walk into the weight room, into the indoor, you're looking at some quality young athletes. And so as a coach, it gives you, a little bit of excitement.
Well, we are sure glad to have you here, and I'm sure those kids are, fired up and they're ready to get after it. It's a new face in town, new coaching staff coming and everything. And, it's when you're coaching kids, I'm sure it's hard to, build that trust. And, they had a great relationship with the past coaches. Those coaches did a great job building that relationship. Mm-hmm. As far as your staff, do you think that, it's going to take some time to, get everybody, ready for what you're about to do and the changes, getting the kids bought into your new way of doing things?
Well, relationships take time. And that's something that this previous staff had, was time and investment with the kids. And that's what I'm hoping that they'll see from me being here on a daily basis, is that I'm ready and willing to invest in them, not just as football players, but as people, as young men, and trying to help them grow and get to a point where in life they're going to be successful, whether they're playing football or not. And so those things take time. It takes effort. It takes them seeing the fact that you're authentic in how you communicate with them, and that you take an interest in them outside of just a football. And so, that's one of those things that I'm really working for right now, is to start that process of building those relationships and that trust. And I know that as I'm looking to bring more people in and hire other coaches to replace some of the coaches that have left, that's the type of person I'm going to be looking to bring in, that's kid-centered and obviously bring a lot of energy and passion and knowledge to the game. But it's really about the kids. And if you get them to buy into what you're selling and what you're bringing to the table, they'll run through a wall for you. And so, the relationship piece of it, the community piece of it, all those things are kind of the big secrets to success. And so I think that's going to happen. I feel really confident in that through just having done this for a long time. And when that exactly is, it's hard to tell. But the faster you get in here and go to work at it, the faster those things come about.
Yeah, building rapport and building trust just with anybody takes some time. So I know it's probably going to take a process. Tell me a little bit. You're bringing in a coach with you, correct? Is it what was the offensive coordinator at Barbers Hill?
Yes, Coach Kirkendall will be coming with me at some point. Obviously they've got to work through all their paperwork issues paperwork things that each district has and all that. But eventually, at some point in the spring, he'll be here, and I'm super excited about him. He's great with kids. He's obviously a good offensive coordinator. We had the highest scoring offense in the district last year.
Y'all spent 18 years together, right?
No, we've been together for 9.
Okay, 9.
So I'll have him here. There's a couple others on the staff that I'm looking to bring up as well, working on them. And with high school, a lot of times you don't get to leave early. Occasionally people will let coaches out of contracts, but some of them have prior obligations that as a coach you wouldn't feel good about walking away from either. And so they're going to finish the things that they have at their school before they make that move. And then we'll have a couple others, because there's been some coaches on the staff that obviously, Coach Green got a job at Groveton. And so he's obviously looking to take some of the guys that he's been working with. So we'll have some guys to replace. But at the same time, a lot of the majority of our staff is going to be made up of coaches that were already here, that we're going to cultivate that relationship between them and us, and bring them into the fold to do things the way I do it.
So I got the 18 years confused with, you spent 18 years in Cedar Park.
16 in Cedar Park. So I was in Wichita Falls for 8, and Cedar Park for 16, and then Barbers Hill for 4.
Okay. But, your time at Cedar Park, you were OC there, correct? And then you became the head football coach.
The first 10 years I was the OC, and then the last 6 I was the head coach.
So you've had the pleasure to coach in 4 state championship games. You left Arlington twice a winner.
Well, actually just once, because my championship that I won in 15 was actually NRG.
That's right.
NRG. We did win the first one at Cowboy Stadium in Arlington, and then so that was 2012. Joe Willis was the head coach in 12, and then 14. We lost in 14 to Ennis, and then I got the job, and we won it in 15 down at NRG, and then in 2020 we lost back in Dallas to.
I can't remember Lufkin. Ennis was in Lufkin's district back then. I don't know if it was that year. I just remember those.
2014. I don't remember who was in their district.
But what's it? You obviously know what it takes to get there. It takes a long road. You got to play after Thanksgiving. You got to play before Christmas. What do you think that you've done in your success to get there that plays a key role in those, getting those kids ready from this time of the year to December?
I think part of it is you talk about it, as you have to verbalize the goals, to visualize the goals, and then you have to set a plan out to work toward. The kids that were on those teams, they were very driven and very resilient to negative things that happened. Even in 2015, we lost some really, really good players on the way to winning the championship, which meant we had some really good guys that were waiting in the wings to step up in those positions because we lost the district MVP at linebacker in the by-district round.
You got linebacker as a district MVP?
Defensive MVP.
Yeah.
And then we lost our starting outside linebacker in the semifinal game. We had a nose that he missed the middle 12 games and came back and played about 15 snaps in the state championship game. And he was a 2-time runner-up for the Division II Player of the Year award, in college. So, that's 3 really, really good football players, but other young guys on that team were ready to step up and play to allow us to keep playing at a high level. And so you have to have that. You have to have guys that are willing to keep doing things right to prepare themselves for the moment when they get that opportunity, that they're ready, so that they don't let their teammates down. You got to have a little luck. Staying healthy is huge, because injuries can, really negatively affect a team. You have starters and backups for a reason, and typically the starters are a little bit better. But so a little luck helps. But the thing is just having a plan and spending your time within the team concept of just working through that plan, developing the relationships and the trust with the kids that they believe that what we're talking about is going to lead them to success, and working toward it every day.
Nice. You've obviously had success in the state championship at Cedar Park. I don't think you didn't make the playoffs anytime at Barbers Hill. What for you coming into a new program? Obviously, you've done it. You had the experience of being the offensive coordinator, transitioning into the head coach at Cedar Park, but stepping into that new role at Barbers Hill. Is it a similar feel coming into Lufkin as the new head coach from the outside coming in, or is there a little bit different? I guess uh, it's like a culture thing.
Well, I think in some ways it's different in that I'm here a lot earlier than I did when I got the job at Barbers Hill. It was the middle of June, and so by the time we got our feet on the ground, like in a consistent manner, I mean, we're talking about June 20th, to some degree. So at that point, you're just now starting to learn the kids, trying to identify them. We're in the middle of the summer, strength conditioning, so you have kids that are out different times for vacations or baseball or whatever. So in that way, it's a little bit different here because I have more time, to cultivate those relationships, to start installing, offensively and defensively, potentially getting to go through spring ball, depending on if we can get all of our staff here. So there's this in this particular situation. It's a much better situation here than it was there, mainly because of time. The kids at Barbers Hill were great. My first year there, the kids that were seniors that year, they were unbelievable in terms of how they bought into us and what we were doing. Just a really, really good group of young men, and really made that a fun year. We ended up going 6-6 that year, got beat in the second round. And we beat Fort Bend Marshall in the first round. They were 10-0 and number 1 or 2 in the state, and so that was a huge win for them. And that was just a really good, tough group. That had we had more time with them, I'm not sure what else we could have accomplished because they were really starting to play good football. So I think, although some differences and some similarities, the biggest difference here I think is time and the opportunity to get to know them a little bit more, so we can identify the components that we have in terms of playmakers on offense, on defense. We'll be able to identify where they fit best to help our team be successful, and we'll have a chance to just get to know each other and have a relationship a little bit longer before the fire hits.
With being in Lufkin, early, like you said, getting a chance to, get your off-season program, the back end of it going like you want it to go, and then potentially roll into spring football and all those things. We have a lot of we don't have a lot of kids that play baseball, basketball, that play football, and it's just a unique thing here in Lufkin. Most kids just have a sport and they stick to it. You as an athletic director and everything, how do you go about, getting started at the youth age, getting these kids wanting to be a Lufkin Panther, wanting to play football in high school, and, get more people in the program, more depth on the team. And, we have a lot of athletes in Lufkin at the high school level. And, there's a lot of kids that, could benefit on the football field that could help, the team out. How do you, get that start at an early stage?
You start spending time with them early, and that's a piece that, and I will add this to I hope to expand the number of kids that are playing football and basketball or football and baseball. I'm a huge believer in multi-sport athletes. I'm a believer in competitors, and I think the more people go and compete, the better they get at it. The better they handle pressure situations, because it's just like anything else. The more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it. I mean, you start doing interviews, and you never done one. It's a little tough sometimes, but once you've done it a little bit, it gets easier and easier. Well, pressure forms diamonds, and diamonds are rock hard. And you want guys that are rock solid in those pressure situations. And I think the more kids go out and compete, the better it is. So I'm hoping to change some of that. But the other piece to answer that question is we're going to go catch them, at the middle schools. We're going to, try to I want to be involved with the youth programs, and have relationships with those coaches so that they start preaching the things that we're preaching, saying the same verbiage, talking the same talk, warming the kids. I mean, just from the little things. And then, I have a full sideline when I was at Cedar Park and at Barbers Hill is like, I want kids to be wanting to come down there and be a part of what we're doing. And so that invitation is going to be there, that as we build these relationships, that I want them to want to be down there. And so I'm proud of that aspect of what we had going at Barbers Hill, and the fact that there was the numbers. We went from, when I got there were 4 teams, one varsity JV and 2 freshmen. And when I left, there were 6. And so, we scheduled 60 football games last year for the high school, because every one of those 6 teams played all 10 games. So the depth will come as you give them the product that makes them excited and makes them want to be a part of it. And again, just going down there and starting to learn who they are. And that's the kids want to see you there. And so that's going to be our biggest deal, is to get down in front of them, let them know that we're going to be down there and watch their games on Tuesdays. And we're going to be working with their coaches. Their coaches are going to be working with us on Fridays and be a part of what we have going. And so it just becomes a seamless transition from one level to the next.
I've heard stories about you at the middle school level. You built a great middle school football program at Barbers Hill, and y'all played a lot of games.
Mm-hmm.
How do you go about doing that?
Well, you have good people that you work with. You put people in positions of leadership that are, again, preaching the same message, because consistency and purpose, and consistency in the message, and consistency in how it's being delivered and executed is important. So, I'm in the process right now of really meeting all the coaches here, talking to them about, where they're at in their career, where they're at with regard to, understanding what's coming, and, just really laying it out on a silver platter for them. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm expecting. And then helping them reach those expectations. You can't expect things to happen if you don't put the expectation out there, and then trusting them and teaching them and leading them to go and to execute it in that fashion. So I think those are the ways you start building that up. We're going to have to find games if somebody doesn't have, the teams to play, and then we can go find one, because playing is important. Kids play games or join sports or teams to go play. And if they don't get the opportunities to play, then they go find something else to do. And there's plenty of things for young people to do now. Some good, some not so good. So our job is to give them the good stuff and the opportunities to go do those things. And so that's what my job is.
You talked earlier about implementing new things. What kind of touch does it take with slowly implementing the way you do things? And do you, when you take over a new program, do you leave some things that are in place with, maybe something in the weight room or anything like that? Do you take stuff that's already established and then add your own, or you just kind of slowly take over and implement your own system of how it's done?
I think it's a combination of both. I mean, the business of coaching is really all about stealing good things from different people all over the place. And so, when you come in, and if there's something that you really like that they're doing, then, I mean, you can't be or shouldn't be so prideful that you say, well, it's not my idea, so we're not doing it. I mean, if it works, it works. I don't care who did it. And if it helps the kid, if it's beneficial to them, then there's no reason not to keep doing that thing or whatever it is. And then the other piece is you start bringing the things that you do that you feel like are important to your success as a program, and you start implementing them over time. I think it's hard to just, for a kid, I mean, they're going through a change too. They went through knowing a staff and a head coach since they were probably 3 or 4 years old, and started paying attention to what's going on, to, quite a bit of change, and really kind of waiting for, a fairly long time between the time when coach decided to retire and when they hired me. So those times create anxiety, and so it's kind of, at this point, there's some relief on that side of it, of knowing it, but at the same time, they don't know who I am. And so you kind of bring it in slowly and start giving them a little piece of you, day by day to the point that they got a pretty good grasp on who you are.
So, like all those things, like you just said, start today. They start when you got here because they,
started last Friday.
They started last
Thursday.
They started last Friday. So you get, like you said, you get more time with these kids. You get to know them. You get, they get familiar with you. You get to get out there at the youth sports and get these kids to know you and all those things. That plays a big role for you because people don't realize this. It's new to you too. These kids are new to you too. You're a new face to them, but it's an adjustment. Coming to Lufkin, it's an adjustment. It's a different town.
Going anywhere
is an adjustment. But when football is so important in a town, you've been at places that football is important. It's you have a duty no matter what. But you want to give the community the wins. You want to give the community the success and all that. But everything does take time to build. And you have you got to get here early. You didn't get to get here like you did at Barbers Hill and all that. You got here early. So therefore, you're gonna have those kids out there on the field prepared, day one to go play football. And that starts now building the body and all that and everything. Then getting to spring football in the summer, buying into the workouts, learning the schemes, learning everything that we're going to do new. It's on the kids also. They have to buy into what you're preaching and what you're teaching and everything because that's going to play a big impact when we line up in August.
It's going to be huge. I mean, it's a team. Them as in the players, the coaches, and the community. I mean, everybody has to be on board with what's going on and believing in the process and believing that the things that you're doing are going to lead to successful opportunities. If I could win every game, I would, and that's what we go and work for every day of the week during the process of a football season. But you've got to show them how it's worked in the past. I said, past matters. They've got to envision that they can see themselves doing those same things. You can tell them until they're blue in the face, but they have to make it happen. They have to go have success to make it a habit. But it's a full commitment to those things from all parties. If there's any part that's missing, then there's going to be a little bit of the success that's missing too. And so, when we go win a game next fall, there's going to be a lot of people that can get to point to themselves and say, I helped that happen. The team, the players, the coaches, the community, all of us all going in the same direction can be a very dangerous thing.
Coach Abseck, another thing I wanted to ask you about your role as an AD. You've had a lot of success being an AD in your previous stops and everything. What's something you look forward to also bring to Lufkin, change, and just improve on?
Well, I think the biggest key is to nurture your coaches in the things that you believe in terms of how you build relationships with kids, because the relationship piece is huge. And every coach is different. I mean, you've had coaches all across the board and all had varying degrees of success, and they all did it a different way.
There's quiet coach, the loud coach, the screamer, right. the father. You got them all.
So there's not one way, but I think there's things that you can bring to the table that can be incorporated by everybody that makes it a better experience for the kid. Which at the end of the day, we're in the kid business. If they don't exist, we don't exist. And so my goal is for them to leave here after 4 years of high school and have a lot of really fun memories of being a Lufkin Panther and playing whatever it is that they're playing. I want to help them have the opportunity for success. There's no success guaranteed, no matter how hard you work at it and all the time that you put into it. There's things that happen that sometimes prevent you from having the success that you desire. But as an AD, it's my job to give them the tools, whether it be a facility thing or a coach thing or equipment, just whatever it is. I'm a facilitator and supporter of success for those programs, and I'm going to be there for them to be a piece of it. As far as just you need something, I'm going to be there. I went through BP to the softball team last night, and that was a lot of fun. I don't know those girls from anybody, and they don't know me either, because at that point that was kind of my, hey, I'm Coach Abseck, put a name with a face. And I was talking to their coach, and they yelled at her to come throw to him. I said, hey, I got this. I'm going to do it. So I went through to them because now they see me differently. They know who I am. I want them, and I think now they can see that I'm going to be invested in what they have going on, and I think that's big as an AD, that the kids know that you care. I'm not the softball coach, I'm not the baseball coach, I'm not the basketball coach or golf to any of those, but I care about.
You want to be involved. You want to be there. You want them to know that,
I want them to know that.
I'm new, but hey, I'm supporting you. I'm here for it. You're at the basketball game. I heard you went by the baseball program. You went by the softball program. Went to the middle school.
Went to watch soccer for the first half. We were up 3-0. I figured we had it going. I had them ready to go. I needed to go eat. So we hit a lot of things last night, and that's purposeful. And I've got more to do tomorrow. So I'm trying to get in front of all of them as fast as I can, so that, again, from there, we just start building off of it, and they can see that I find value in what they're doing. I'm not just the football coach. I'm the athletic director and the leader of the athletic program, and hopefully, a guy that's going to help influence a lot of different people here.
A lot of people don't know this. You take a big liking to, the women's side of, the sports.
Mm-hmm.
You're very involved in the ladies, sports, and, you go to a lot of places, it's football, basketball, baseball. And then you'll make a few stops and somebody has a good, softball team or your soccer team or something. But, as far as you and your experience, your previous experience and your stops in the past, have you involved yourself with the women athletics?
Well, I mean, in a lot of them, I hired their coaches, but also, in probably my time as a coordinator, the athletic coordinator or AD, the team that I've seen the least is probably boys basketball, because I've always aligned that class with the football period so that the kids that do both could transition faster once football was over and get going to basketball. And so they're always practicing when my guys are practicing. So I've seen them probably the least, no question. But I go out there. I love sports. I'm a sports junkie. So I go out there and watch, or if they're shorthanded, coaches are sick or out or whatever, then you go and you start hitting fungo. Or, I coached baseball for 14 years. I coached basketball for 4. I have a daughter, so I know that the girls are important for a variety of reasons, but I know, to my daughter, that was a big deal. And so you want to provide them with the same opportunities that the boys are getting. And so you just go and spend time with them. It's not really a job, it's a calling. And I think if you truly believe that, then it doesn't seem like work. It's just something else to go and help do.
Yeah. It's always good seeing your athletic director show up at, the sports maybe not everybody else shows up at, and having a daughter, that's big, showing up at all the girls' events. You've talked about goals. What, year 1 to year 5, what is your goal outlook for, Lufkin ISD as a whole in the athletic program?
I want to see us have success in everything we do. The kind of the general measurement of athletic success is the Lone Star Cup, and that the UIL does, but it takes into account academics and fine arts and athletics. But, a big piece of that is the athletic side of it. And so I want to see us, get to be a top 15 team or top 15 school, top 20 school in the Lone Star Cup, because, that is a measure of success across the board, not just athletic, but everybody having success. But I want that athletic side of it to be holding our own, to be adding to the prestige of our school and our school district, and then in turn our community. I want to see that. But the fun part about that is you can't be very well high ranked in that deal without everybody winning. If football goes and wins a state championship, that's great. That's 16 points, and everybody will love me, and maybe I can keep my job. But it won't really register a whole lot on the Lone Star Cup if everybody else has a poor year or don't have the success that they wanted. So, to do that is really fun. We were actually the Lone Star Cup champions in, I think it was 2010-11 at Cedar Park. We've been in the top 5, I think 2 or 3 other times. At Barbers Hill, we were in the top 13 all 4 years that I was there. So, it was fun to see that everybody was sharing a piece of that. And so, that's kind of the long term, the goal over that time period as an AD. And then obviously I want to win a lot of football games.
So as far as the football side, we touch back on that. Talk a little X's and O's. We know, like you said, you had the highest scoring offense in the district last year. You like to throw the ball. What are some things, you think we can impact on with our kids here in Lufkin as far as, different schemes and, new ways of going about playing football and lining up?
Well, I mean, I don't know that anything that we do is going to be completely revolutionary. I think it's just about creating space and getting your athletes the ball in space, and then creating numbers matchups, whether you're looking at an inside run game scheme or an outside passing scheme, is to create numbers advantages with alignment and motions and things of that nature. So, obviously the more that they can be taught and they can understand, the faster we can do it, because movement and doing it with speed is harder for the defensive adjust. I think athletically speaking, we have some guys that will be very successful and some of the things that we're doing in terms of creating those space and one-on-ones and things of that nature. We have several of the offensive line back, and we've got, two or three really good running backs back. I'm excited to see Javion at quarterback. I know he was injured for a large part of the year, but he was also the starter when it started, and so he's a kid that's really been fun to get to know him, and seeing him come back from that and start his preparation for this season. So I think he's got. I happened to see him at the combine that we had at Barbers Hill when he was down there. So it was nice to see that he can throw the ball pretty well, because we do like to throw it.
You like to throw the ball a lot.
But we've also had years where we ran it, so it's really important to again, as we go through this spring, identify what we feel like can be strengths and then start putting the pieces together to build the offense around those things rather than just what I want. I mean, you can want a lot of things in life, but if you don't have the pieces to make it happen, then you got to find a different way to get it done. So, we will have the ability to run it because there's some really good running backs in the program that are coming back. I know we had a couple that graduated, but there's a couple that are back that are pretty nice. So, as a coach, you get pretty excited seeing them in there running around and getting after it in the weight room, knowing that I've seen them on film. I know they can play that part of it. So let's, amplify what they can be physically, and then let's go play fast and physical when it comes time to play football.
One thing I like.
How fast are we talking about? Are we like?
What's that?
How fast are we talking about? Is it like Oregon early 2010s, like moving that fast, Chip Kelly style?
Well, at some point that will be where we're at. I don't know that it'll be there in August or September. It takes time, because there's a lot to it in terms of understanding those things, the dynamics of how you communicate that stuff. Every year you're always trying to get better and improve on how you do certain things. And so we're looking at different things that we feel like will communicate better with the kids so that you don't have busts over some of the things we've done before. And so really the more opportunities we have to rep it, the faster we could potentially play. And that varies. There's certain times where you want to snap it fast. There's other times where you want to show like you're snapping it fast and then look back and change the play. And sometimes you've got to play slower because you want to give your defense a break. Maybe they were just on the field for a 12-play drive and they're a little gassed. Well, offensively, it's about team. It's not about how many points you can score. It's about winning at the end of the day. And if taking a little time off the clock and burning some of it a little bit to give them a break is what's called for, then you do that.
One thing I liked what you said was the school board meeting, whatever, when you officially got the job, you said, I'm going to run the ball and I got to run the ball, and I'm going to throw the ball and I got to throw the ball. It's not much to it.
Well, I mean, there's a lot to it.
Well, on that aspect.
The point is that, I don't want to be looked at as hard-headed or trying to pound, square pegs in round holes. I mean, you can want a lot of things, but it's the smart thing is to look at the pieces you have and what makes them the best that they can be. And I'm doing them a disservice if I don't take that into account. Now we're going to continue at that point. Once we've identified this is the starting point, now we're going to work through making those other skills better, whatever that might be, whether it's pass pro, because pass pro is difficult. It's the most difficult thing in the world. I mean, you watch a freshman football team play football and the quarterback's running for his life, because that's the hardest thing there is to do. I mean, is to learn to work 5 guys together in tandem to protect the quarterback against sometimes, or a lot of times, guys that are a little bit more athletic than them, especially at that age. And so, that part matters, because you're going to make some adjustments or changes to what they've done in the past, because when you do throw the ball a lot more, you get blitzed a lot more. So you have to have different ways to protect the quarterback that maybe in the other system they didn't have to do, because it didn't necessarily, that wasn't a problem that they saw. So those are things that we've had to work through because of what we've done in the past. But, we're going to try to utilize the kids the best they can be utilized. And we're going to try to get as many people involved in that as possible, because you want to develop the depth. And so how do you do that? You play, you get opportunities. And then that way you've got a continuous process of bringing guys on, and you don't just lose everything you have one year and completely have to rebuild the next. So it all fits together.
What gets you excited as a coach? During the game, I guess maybe I see your background as an offensive play caller. Like, is it scheming up the right thing? You talked about getting your athletes in space, getting to the ball. Is it running a play early in the game that you can just turn a little variance on and get this guy in the right spot and it turns into a big one? What kind of gets you excited as a play caller?
Really, all of those to some degree. It's fun to work something during the course of a week, whether it's a gadget play or maybe just a little bit of a change up off of something you've done in the past that you kind of lull the team to sleep, but when you put something in all week and you tell them, hey, we're going to do this, and it's going to do this, this, and that, and it's going to be a big play. When that happens, that's pretty exciting. On offense. Defensively, I like sacks. I like getting after the quarterback. I like guys that really bring it off the edge and, have a nose for the football. And so that's defensively, that's kind of stuff that gets me going because it's an effort deal. It's like a war, a one-man war. And when they get that win, it's pretty exciting.
Coach Abseck, before we let you go, another thing I wanted to ask you, how big are you on, letting the young guys get out there and play? If you think the kid's ready, he's young, he's a freshman, he's a sophomore. How big is that? If this kid could benefit my team, how big is that for you to put those kids on the field at the varsity level?
I mean, if they can play, they can play. I mean, actually in the last, the 4 years I was at Barbers Hill, we had 4 different freshmen playing a game on varsity football. I mean, our little slot receiver from last year, Kagan, I mean, he was up as a freshman. I think he came up week 4. Bryce came up, I think, week 5 and basically started the rest of the year. The year before that, we had a kid, Tripp, that was our 3rd leading receiver. So, I mean, if they can play, they can play. And if they're ready, they're ready. I mean, to me, the age doesn't necessarily matter. I mean, ideally you want your seniors to be the guys because they've put in the time and all those things, and you're going to give that its due reward. But at the end of the day, it wouldn't be fair to me to not play the best kid or the best player for that particular situation. So, we have to be blind to what grade they're in or whatever. If they're the best guy, they're the best guy, and then you go from there. But I think there's a lot of opportunities for kids to contribute. You sell the idea all the time that special teams matters, and in a given football game, that's 30 to 35 snaps of football that are special teams plays, where that be kickoff return, punt return, extra point block, all those things. Those matter too. And so, those are starter opportunities, as you will, that, if you just said it doesn't matter, then apparently playing doesn't matter that much, because those matter too. And there's been games where we had 58 snaps of offense and had 39 snaps of special teams. Well, if you go out and really work hard at it, you're playing a third of the game, even just literally.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Coach Abseck, we thank you for coming on live from the Pine tonight.
Yep.
Last football season, we had a great season. We won district.
Yep.
We sent y'all back down 59.
Thanks.
We were some happy fans, and like I told you, me and Trey had some ties with some families from Barbers Hill,
Yep.
and they basically told us when we go to Barbers Hill this year, they're going to treat us the same way and wine and dine us, but their goal is to send us back down 59 the way they went back last year. So we look forward to going back down there with you this year, and hopefully, we're going to try to leave with a lucky Panther W.
That'd be the goal for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, live from the Pines, thank you everybody for tuning in tonight and watching us. Coach Abseck, we thank you for everything coming on the podcast tonight. It means a lot. Your wife's down there waving at us right now. I'm sure she's ready for you to get home and get on the phone with her or whatever. But once again, go give our guys at Zilker Belts a shout. Use discount code PINES936 for all online orders. And thank you again for support live from the Pines. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe, all socials. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
Let me turn this off.